Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I took my brand new Camry SE Hybrid on a real world 3,000 mile road trip to see how many miles per gallon you can truly get. And the reason I call these real world miles is because this is not done in a lab. This is done in the middle of summer. This is done just driving the way you normally would drive in a road trip. So let's go over some of the factors that change. Okay, so the very first variable here is my average speed I drove was about 75 miles an hour. Now my top speed was close to 85, and then of course in the city it came down to like 30 or 20 miles an hour. I had the AC on all the time. And just a side note, the AC on this car is off the hook. It is super cold. I went through Arizona and New Mexico, which are typically some of the hotter states, the southern parts of it, and I didn't even have it on full blast. I actually had to bring up the temperature on the AC because it was that good. It was about 85% of the driving was highway and 15% was city. Again, this was a road trip I took. I took a 1,500 mile road trip one way, and then I took a 1,500 mile road trip the other way. For the most part, it was done in the highway, but there was some city driving. I took 4 people, myself and 3 other passengers, plus all of our luggage. The outside temperature was an average of about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. In the hotter parts, it did reach up to about 115, 117. The cooler parts was about 85 to 90 degrees. And my other variable here was my electronics. I had the radio on. I had a GPS system that I installed, so I had that plugged in, and I had 2 charging ports going all the time. Again, I didn't want to give this test drive like I wasn't gonna baby it. I was gonna, hey, this is a real world. This is what typically is done when you're driving. You're not gonna turn off your AC if it's hot. You know, when you're driving, it's not just gonna be you. It's gonna be you and your family. And if you're on a road trip, it's gonna be luggage as well. You're gonna have the GPS. You're gonna have the radio on. You're gonna have charging ports. All of these variables I factored in, and these were my results. Right after driving 389 miles, I pumped 10 gallons. And my miles per gallon average is about 37. The next time, my next miles per gallon average was about 36. Then I hit 43. Then I hit 40. Then I hit 37. Then I hit 40. Then I hit 38 miles per gallon. On my 8th one, I drove 117 miles, pumped 4.8 gallons. My miles per gallon average was about 35. Then 42. Then 35, and then 37. Now this was the entire trip that I took. And you might ask yourself, well, how come some of them you reached mid 40s or close to mid 40s, and then some were like mid 30s? You have to understand that this was a true driving experience. I took it wasn't a flat surface, it wasn't a controlled environment. It was ups and downs, hills, valleys. I went up and over mountains, down over mountains. I drove in the city. I drove at 85 miles an hour. I drove at 80. I drove at 75 at some point. So in total, this road trip took about 3,200 miles. I did pump about close to 100 gallons here, 98 gallons, and my average was about 38 miles per gallon. Now I know that's about close to 6 to 8 miles less than what they're quoting you that the hybrid can do. But that is, again, in a controlled environment. I want to say that the speed does not go over 50. Probably the AC, the radio, none of that stuff is on. So once you factor in all those variables that you use in a normal, everyday type of driving when you're doing a road trip, my Camry Hybrid ended up averaging about 38 miles a gallon. Still not bad, but not the mid 40s that is promised on the paper. So if you're looking at getting a Camry Hybrid, do not bank on that you're going to get the mid 40s. You're probably going to end up reaching about upper 30s, maybe if you're lucky, the very, very low 40s. All right. I hope that this information has been useful to you guys. If it has, please leave a comment down below. If you do own a Camry Hybrid SE, please let me know what you're averaging in your trips. I know the LE does a little bit more, but I went with the SE option because of the suspension, because of the look and all that stuff. But all in all, 38, 39 miles a gallon with all the other variables that were factored in. It's not too bad. I would have loved to have seen the mid 40s. All right, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.